Shockwave. Nice eye. I think I'll take it. I'm the Canadia Reviewer, and I bet you're wondering, doing a new review for you guys, and this time we're gonna take a look at Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. What do you think of the Shockwave?
I absolutely hate it.
You still pissed off they ripped your face out?
You bet your monkey's uncle.
I'm talking to a toy. I'm talking to a toy! And here's Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime in his alt mode, and as you can see, he transforms into a very nice semi-truck. It's a beautiful alt mode, though I'm not going to say it's the most accurate alt mode there is to date. It's still a very nice representation, except you got the waist right in the back there, but it doesn't really bother me. Hell, underneath it doesn't even have that much kibble except for the upper legs up here. While I do appreciate the design of Optimus Prime, I will say this, he's a little too complex for kids and maybe some adults out there. The transformation on this guy is scary, and sometimes it's a miracle to get it into one mode. Especially right around here, so many things just want to collide with each other. On my Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, the canisters on the side here have broken off, but I'm a little bit thankful for that because they seem to get in the way the most out of anything on this toy. Right here you can see a couple of tabs. This one doesn't do anything, but if you push this one, and yes, they are glowing red because the hero of the story needs glowing red evil looking lights. The paint job on this is actually pretty good. It's got some gold going through here with the blue flames and the red flames. It's got a nicely painted red Autobot logo and a black one. Don't know why he needs two Autobot logos on the front there, but okay. And he has some blue paint. That didn't come with the toy. I just accidentally got some blue paint on it. These These smokestacks can move forward and back, so if you want to adjust that, you can go ahead and do so, yay! No rubber wheels, boo! Unfortunately, there's no trailer, but it looks like you could plug one on. Size comparison, here he is with Shadow Command Megatron, and Shadow Command Megatron is quite larger than Optimus Prime, which in alt mode I'm totally fine with. I'm also fine with that in robot mode as long as he's not too much taller. And here's a size comparison with Jetfire. Notice that I didn't transform him because I didn't want to right now. So let's stop sitting here like some mandarin oranges and take a look at alt mode. Let's go to robot mode! I just want to mention before we continue that that little pin pushes a little button in this section right here. And when you do that, it lights up in the chest, which you guys missed that, but it also makes that transformation noise. So here's the face-ripping Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and I gotta say, my complaints aside about the transformation, this guy still looks good to this day. I cannot think of another movie Optimus Prime that tops the design and look and aesthetic of this version. And some people are probably going to say the Age of Extinction Voyager class is way better than this because it transforms into the G1 Optimus Prime truck or whatever. But I gotta say, as far as an actual movie representation of this form, this takes the cake. I see people complaining about the backpack, but it has the right shape. I am not impressed with the transformation, but what you get out of this blows my mind. There is sort of an upset, but it's not really with this figure, but it is in a way. It's just that the first movie figure did a pretty good job, and then when it came to Revenge of the Fallen, that did amazing. And then when Dark of the Moon came out, we were kind of disappointed. I mean, you went from a good figure to an amazing figure that made the last one look terrible, and then you go to the next one and it's like, wow, this is the best you got, huh? Of course, I don't even know how you can top this except for maybe the Takara repaints or whatever. I mean, good God, look at the legs alone on this guy. These are fantastic. Giant ball joints in the feet that are very nice and actually click in place, so he's not going to fall over. And they're huge feet too! Always remember to have these out. I didn't. You also get a nice light up feature. When you push the chest, everything starts to move. Don't know why this side didn't move. Did I break it? Oh, that's why. Always remember to have these out. I didn't. There we go.
Check this out, I could talk over myself. I like pickles.
And for the transformation, he actually has a very nice light up gimmick. It says, I am Optimus Prime, and the entire chest moves. Just how he transforms alone, it's fantastic the way they got this in development. That's a perfect head. I don't think I need to say any more of that. It lights up green. I love it. What else? Unfortunately, he cannot straighten out his elbow. You want me to solve that? Just hit this button and, check him out. There we go. He's got awesome swords and he can straighten out his elbows. What's wrong with that? Some people probably would have preferred the axe. Not in my book. I prefer these any day. The articulation is outstanding, and you can get some more of it when you untab some of the things. The smokestacks you can adjust to any way you want. You can move the tire out of the way so you can get more articulation. Plus, if you move stuff out of the way and hit that button... I don't know, that's just fun. I'm serious, I cannot think of another Optimus Prime that just tops this. He is not perfect by any means. I do not like the stress marks on the back here, and one of them have broken. This is actually a replacement piece. But hey, if you're careful, you get a nice looking Optimus Prime. Size comparison time, here is Shadow Command Megatron, and oh, that looks good. And while the scale doesn't exactly work, putting him next to Jetfire, he looks pretty good. If anyone's going to ask, am I going to combine Jetfire and Optimus Prime in this review, I'm not. In the Jetfire review, I will combine them. And because it's relevant, here is a Transformers Robots in Disguise Warrior class figure. And you can see, oh, Optimus Prime, he shrunk. Oh, I think I found myself an Optimus Prime. He was just standing there looking pretty. What's more there to be said? Let's go to my overall review and find out. So overall, do I recommend Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime? I would say I would to collectors. To kids, it's a no-go, and it's not for the alt mode or the robot mode. It's for the transformation. It's way too complex for kids. But I gotta say, Optimus Prime has a nice shape. It's definitely better than the first movie, which was praised by a lot of collectors. And I gotta say, he's a pretty cool toy. I love the fact that I have him. It's just the transformation is a real pain. If you can sit through the transformation, then I would say I'd highly recommend this guy, because even if you're not a fan of the movieverse, I gotta say he's still a good toy. I'd like to give a big shout out to Autism Awareness. If you could, do some research, get the word out. We need the power stuff, I don't know. I just want to give a big shout out to them because I didn't do a theme for Autism Awareness Month, but I'm still gonna give it a shout out. Anyways, that is pretty much it. I'm the Canadia Reviewer. I'm gonna start drinking. This is Coke. It's Coke Zero. It's non-alcoholic. Hey, Grandpa, can I have a cookie?
My name is Mr. Wilson, and I'm here to say I'm gonna smack your ass in a major way. What are you doing in my basement? Get out of here! Get out of here!
Hey, Canadia Reviewer, I need to ask you something. Can I leave you with my grandpa for the weekend? I'm going to Legoland, and as you know, kids under 3 and old people over 99 can't play with Legos because they'll end up swallowing them. Alright, thanks. Bye, Grandpa. No one loves you.
You kids today don't know nothing. Back in my day, Minecraft wasn't a video game that was orchestrated to define kids to think that Ronald Reagan's popular.
Wait a minute! You're Jetfire from the movie!
You don't know Jews.
Would it be alright if I reviewed you?
Let me tell you about the time I found an acorn. I was outside.
That's so awesome! I could dance!
And here is Jetfire in his alt mode, and appropriate to the on-screen version in the Transformers film, he transforms into a blackbird. And a really long one at that. I mean, from here to the nose cone, it's about as long as my arm, and I have long-ass arms. If you were to shove this section up your ass, I would be impressed that the whole thing can fit in there. It's just a whole mess of jets, and underneath you get a whole mess of dead robot. Do you think he's blue because it's dead and the oxygen has rushed out of the body? Spoiler alert to Revenge of the Fallen. Jetfire dies. Check out the paint applications on this toy. You get some silver on the front there, which is pretty nice. A red Jetfire logo on the side there. You get some red stripes. And you get 17972, which in letters equals, I don't know because I don't care. You also get a skunk, which is a reference to he's a stink pile. You also get a scratched out Decepticon logo, which makes sense because he's changed from Decepticon to Autobot in the movie. For a size comparison, I don't really have anything, so here's a pair of scissors. There you go. The landing gear for Jetfire can all flip out if you'd like that, if you want a plane with wheels. You also get a Gatling gun on the front section, which has a missile on the front, and you can fire that off, and that's now lost. You can also remove this if you want. So easy. The front sections right here is full of rubbery plastic. I mean, as well as these sections, but they're still sharp. I will give it that. What does this button do? Sweet! You get dying seagull sound effects. Despite the kibble on the bottom, you do get some very nice detail with the panel lining. And I mean, look at this. Look at that. Look at all that. That is, oh god. Also, these wing flaps in the back can move around. So that's pretty much it for the alt mode. There's not much more to say. Let's go ahead and transform it and try to make a robot out of it. And here is Mr. Magoo in his robot mode. Jetfire is actually a very talented individual because if you get the legs to get in any position other than straight up, he will fall over. Despite the many joints, they don't stand up too well. They don't stand up horribly if you just have him, well, standing, but if you get him into any other pose, he will likely fall over. Despite that, I like the articulation that the legs are given, and when you rotate this section, you also get these little bits inside there that can move. Jetfire has a lot of kibble on the back, mainly these thrusters and this back kibble right here, but that's kind of necessary for the combination mode, which we'll talk about later on. Jetfire has this cane that he can barely hold, which makes me feel sorry for him. I mean, he can barely hold this cane, he can barely stand up. Oh god, it's just sad. But if he falls off his ass because of his dumbass cane, he does have a Gatling gun to defend himself, so I guess it's a win. Jetfire has a couple of buttons on his, Batuski area. And he has this little button inside here that's really hard to push, but is made easy once you place this on for the alt mode, because that's actually made for the alt mode. When you push that, it makes the soaring sound we heard earlier. But he also has this button, and when we hit that, we also get that kind of robotic sound. It's kind of a hidden sound effect, actually. Just like the leader classes that came around the same time, once you pull down this lever, he will make some sounds and move some parts. His head will also wobble side to side because, I don't know, he had kind of a seizure. So let's go ahead and play that sound effect.
I have fallen, and I choose not to get up.
Actually, he sounds like this. Which, sounds like an American trying to do a British accent, but okay. I don't know about you, I don't see anything wrong with this. I'm just gonna let him do his thing. This is sort of a fan-made thing that I created, but if you take the back kibble and the cane, you can make this axe. While it's not accurate to what he has in the movie, at least it's something. Jetfire! The axe-wielding killer! Pew! Also, I just realized I actually put that in the wrong spot. It's supposed to go here for the robot mode. Oopsie poopsie! Jetfire has no real head articulation due to the gimmick. I mean, it does swabble back and forth, but usually it will take itself back into place because of the springs. But still, I like the molding of the head. I will give it that. Arm blades, that's what the kids are doing. Wait a minute, over here it says Lieutenant Colonel Brawley? Aw, thank God Brawl got that promotion. He doesn't have to listen to Onslaught anymore. I will say this though, Jetfire doesn't seem to be the music type. Turn that cripple! And the arms have some pretty good articulation going for them, so that's actually something kind of cool. While it kind of looks like a mess, I'll give it that. You do have lots of detail. If you're a customizer, you have a lot to work with here. And as I said earlier, we have a combined mode to do! Separate. We are weak. We are nothing. We fight for nothing. But together, as one, we can become something more, something you wouldn't imagine, with power you would not believe. I don't think I did it right. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong?
Optimus Prime is a force to be reckoned with, and fused with the parts of Jetfire, he will stop at nothing to defeat those who only want to destroy. The Fallen has no chance. Megatron has no chance. No Decepticon has any chance to stand up against this behemoth. And what do I think of the overall design, aesthetic, and just the toy overall?
I mean, it's meh. The Optimus Prime and Jetfire combination doesn't have that much going for leg articulation. I think that's my biggest complaint, because there's nothing you can do with the legs except for slightly bend the knees, probably. Also, this piece is really difficult to clip into place. I don't know why. I used to get it, but this little piece that holds in the waist, it won't stay attached. I do like the belt section. That is actually pretty cool. You get points for that. I like that the canisters for Optimus Prime can be used as boosters for the giant thrusters in the back. Also, shoulder armor much. Optimus Prime gains this kick-ass gun, which is fused with the parts of the back kibble for Jetfire and his cane, which I think complement itself really well. The cane is used as a support for the overall gun to connect, and I mean, just look at it. That is badass. This was one of the most badass things for Jetfire in his robot mode, and it's puny compared to everything else. Move out of the way, lamp. Sadly, though, you can't really get into the compartment used for the Optimus Prime lights and sounds, but if you move the head back, you can still get him to say, "I am Optimus Prime." And because this section is not covered, you can still use this sound effect. And you can still use this if you get your finger in. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a shame that it doesn't really have leg articulation, but doesn't matter when you're really doing this. My recommendation is to not put this next to Megatron, because I feel like at night it's going to come alive and pretty much rip that toy apart. You still get the same arm articulation, so at least that's fair. This combination actually really does look cool. It is a shame for the leg articulation, but doesn't matter when you're really doing this. I think not. I will say, though, I think me and Optimus have something not in common. I personally don't want dead body parts on my body. So with this out of the way, let's go to the overall review.
Come to the hey, I'm back from Legoland. Did you get a haircut?
Hey, you like?
You look like shit.
Everything you know will cease to be.
Anyways, did my grandfather give you any trouble?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I actually really like Revenge of the Fallen Jetfire. Yes, he's not like his classics version, but as what he looks like in the movie, he's actually not that bad. He's not great, he's not fantastic, none of his modes are really exceptionally well. I mean, his alt mode is pretty cool until you turn it around and you see robot kibble underneath. But other than that, I mean, no mode is perfect, but no mode is terrible. It all has its own thing to it. Like, each mode has something good with it, and that's why I like Jetfire. If you could pick him up for cheap, I'd say go ahead and get him.
Great. Now, where is... Oh, wow. He's dead. I guess damn you! I was going to tell him he made great graham crackers! Now I'll never get the chance!
You know what they say, sometimes some green pickles are on the other hot dog.
I fucking hate you!
Actually, he sounds like this. Or he doesn't, apparently.
Now look at this net that I have found. When I say go, get ready to throw, and go! I mean... Okay. And him, not me! Let's try something else. Now watch and learn. Here's the deal. You slip and slide on this banana peel. I hate memes.
Hello guys, what's up? I am the Canadia Reviewer here doing another Christmas special for 2016, and you know what that means? It's just gonna be more stressful than special. I mean, what am I doing for this Christmas special that's going to be so different than anything else? I've Santa hat. So Shockwave, what are you thankful for the holidays?
I'm not sure, considering the fact that it's no Thanksgiving!
See, that's where you're wrong, okay? Christmas is like Hanukkah, and I don't know what Hanukkah is.
You can clearly tell that this video was well thought out.
You know what I'm thankful for? The stress that Christmas brings. So you know what? Let's bring something stressful. My black heart.
Now look at this tank that I have found.
This is Shadow Command Megatron, and if you don't know, this is pretty much a black repaint to the original Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Megatron, which was gray, lots of gray, exclusively gray. I don't hate the gray color scheme, I think it's just fine. I mean, that's what you had in Generation 1. But honestly, I think the black color scheme looks way better in my personal opinion. The only problem is it's not the accurate version, so I'll generally go for the gray version, but for this one, I really wanted the black Shadow Command version for it. And look at that, I finally got it. Fun little fact, this figure from the N.E.S.T. Global Alliance lineup was actually an unreleased toy. It was part of the last wave of leader class figures and never actually made an official release. However, our Walmart said otherwise, and it actually was there quite a lot. It was not that hard for me to pick one up, and well, I finally got one. Actually, this was a birthday gift, which is great because it goes for how much? Man, unreleased figures, huh? They really go for a lot. Thank you, Dark of the Moon Leadfoot. Well, I shouldn't really be complaining because I have the figure and he looks pretty good. Now, his proportions are a little too high. I like the squat look of the Voyager Megatron that just looked more accurate to his movie version. Not saying that this is bad, it's just less accurate to that. I mean, just for Megatron itself, it doesn't look that bad. And you know what? The black color scheme really pops. He's got accents of red, just like his Generation 1 toy had accents of red. These giant treads on the side, although if you're going to stick to a plain gray for the back and the feet, don't paint these in silver. Just paint them gray. At least have a match, for God's sakes. I know a lot of collectors who like transforming their figures with their heads last, and well, you're not gonna get a head reveal for this because, well, it's right there. It's right the fuck there. You think he's really hiding with those two little T-Rex arms? Robots in disguise! You ain't fooling me! As a Cybertronian tank, he does have this missile that launches out of the arm, and if you push this button, you sometimes will get a sound effect. As a tank toy, Megatron does have a missile, and actually he has a sound effect. You push the button in, it apparently doesn't do anything. Megatron, as a Cybertronian tank toy, has this launching missile gimmick on the turret, and you push the button, and it's supposed to make a sound. Oh, I don't have it unlocked all the way. As a Cybertronian tank, he has this giant turret on the top that launches this missile, and when you do, you get that little sound effect. You can launch this without using the sound effect, but it's just so much more fun when you do this. Now the button is activated through the turret and into the body, and it hits this little tab that makes the sound effect. So when you disconnect the turret from that, you will no longer get the sound effect, but at least you can get the articulation for the turret. Just watch out for this a little bit. It will tend to hit stuff, and you have to disconnect the back of this. But yeah, if you want articulation, I mean, it's there. Now this is for robot mode, but if you want, you can bring down this section, and you can also flip out this little blade. There's no real reason for it, but you can do that. If you're lucky, you can actually flip out the blade and get it to hit that button and launch out the missile. Let's see if I can get it. Come on. There we go. It won't work every time, but it worked that time. Megatron has a couple of wheels at the bottom, but normally you're just scraping him on the ground. I do like the little jet boosters on the side. You get these with a lot of articulation, and you also get these big sections right here. I will admit it looks like the robot from Earth to Echo. I know this is weird, but I had him in alt mode. Let's compare him to the Ultra Class Onslaught. And as you can see, Megatron is a lot bigger. I mean, he is a leader class figure after all. I also have a modern figure to compare with him. We have the Hardhead figure, also, I bit my tongue. Also a tank transformer, so that's good. And we also have the leader class Megatron. Now I'm just going to pull back his turret so we can get a good size comparison. And as you can see, yeah, they've shrunk. You might already have the Revenge of the Fallen leader class Megatron, and you might already have an opinion on it. But I gotta say, for the paint deco on this guy, while it's not accurate to what he has in the movie, is very good. The black, the red accents, the ruby brown plastic actually really do work together. Hell, I'm not normally a fan of this root beer plastic used for toys. I don't know, it's just something that I don't like, unless it's a main color for the toy. But for this figure, it really does work. It's like banana is the Megatron, and then the cheese is the paint scheme, and you wrap that cheese around the banana, and it's Mr. Rogers approved. With that out of the way, let's go on to robot mode. Shadow Command Megatron in his robot mode, and yeah, paint-wise, he looks pretty good. Megatron's transformation is simple, and I feel like it should just be like a quick little thing, but it's not fun. I'm a little impatient with this toy, and the reason why is because you have to halfway transform something, and then eventually you'll go back to it, but then you have to half transform something else, and in doing so, you have to stop there and half transform something else. It's not even that time consuming, because it will take me like 2 minutes to transform this thing. It's just the fact that I feel like it should be shorter. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and there is a way to make it faster, but it's just, it's not even time consuming, it's just impatient. Maybe that's a nitpick, but I don't know. I don't like just halfway transforming something. I want to get something done and then move on to the next part, move on to the next part, and move on to the next part. Again, that is nitpicking, and they do at least get the robot mode down. to some degree, so there's that. He's got the giant arm that we've talked about. It's got a little bit of articulation, move forward and back and then out and in, but once you pull that out, this will unlock from the side. Then again, I guess it's better than just having it locked in there and snap and break. You do get a laser gun sound, but I don't know if something is turned, if that makes sense, because there's a little thing that's connected to a pin that moves with the arm, but it seems to just wiggle around in there. So I don't know if just playing around with it for so long, it's moved out of place, but you move the arm up all the way, and then it makes the blast noise. I don't understand it. Shouldn't it be like right here? But it just doesn't do that. Again, maybe something moved in there and it's just out of place, but if not, that's kind of weird. He does still have the missile launching feature, and I said before, this makes more sense in the robot mode, because now you have this giant claw thing, which is pretty cool, and then you also have this giant blade. It's not accurate to what Megatron had in the movie, but you know what? I'm okay with it. It's just a little play feature, and you know what? It makes the Megatron at least a little bit more fun. The actual issue that I have with the arms is... The biggest issue that I have with the arms is articulation, because when you compare it to the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, yes, I do understand that there's a gimmick going on here, but when you look at Optimus Prime, it still has the flip-out swords and all the gimmicks, and it doesn't lack in articulation. Yes, you can't really straighten out the elbows once you have the swords in, but once you launch them out, it's fine. I don't know, maybe, again, that's just me nitpicking on the toy, but I feel like this should have more articulation. It's got a play feature in it, so kids will enjoy it, but I feel like they could have added a little bit more, especially compared to the Voyager-class Megatron. As I stated before, this Megatron has some sound effects, and some new sound effects. The Revenge of the Fallen original Megatron had just an I am Megatron, but this one has this.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Alright, I already made that joke in the Jetfire review, but here we go. Taking a closer look at the gimmick, you'll see some gears turn inside the body. You'll also see these pieces on the chest move. His head will tilt side to side. There's a light flash feature in his eyes and a couple of other places. As well, he will say the line, "There is no command but mine." Let's get a better look with the lights off. Ooh, that looks evil! Taking a look at the legs, you got some rocket things on the side here, and you also have flip-out toes, because, you know, it's not Megatron without flip-out toes. I do understand the option, and this is closer to the 2007 movie version of Megatron, but in Revenge of the Fallen, he had treads for feet, so I'm going to leave it like that. I do understand why people would have it like this. I mean, the gray doesn't even match, but you know what? I just like this. These back parts of the legs just fit inside here. There's a little tab that tries to hold it in place, but it doesn't really do a good job. I mean, sometimes I'll just play around with it and it'll pop out and that will happen. I will say, nice Decepticon logo. And of course, you can't be the leader of the Decepticons without back nipples. There's no foot articulation, but you can move them forward, back, out and in, and you can bend the knee. So, not a lot going in here, but enough to kind of play around, but I wish there was so much more. I do understand that there's no foot articulation due to how they're designed, but I just wish there was a little bit more. You can get him into some okay poses, but he's not gonna look fantastic. The only real good pose you can get is just a little bit turned with his arm pulled back, or just straight. I know I'm complaining a lot in this video, but I've got to say, you know what? There's something I really like about this, and I think what draws my attention to this toy is the paint job itself. It's actually a pretty good paint scheme. It's not just a random paint scheme. Well, it is at the same time, but it's a paint scheme that looks good on him. See, the thing about the original Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Megatron is, yeah, it was gray, yeah, it was accurate to the movie, and yeah, I had an interest in getting it, but looking back at it, I imagine it's actually a pretty boring toy. I mean, no articulation, no flair, no nothing. Yeah, it's definitely different with the tank tread legs, but other than that, it's not that thrilling. There had been better Megatrons out there, and I still stand to say this is not a great toy. But you know what? the paint scheme really works for it. I think it's got enough play value, but it just needs more. But in its defense, its paint scheme really turns the tide to make me say, you know what, this is actually pretty decent. It's not great, as I said before, but at least decent. Alright, I got a bunch of things to size compare with this guy. We have Leader Class Optimus Prime, and I just stand to the point, this is a much better Optimus Prime. But if you have Optimus Prime and you really need a Megatron and you find it for a good price, you know what, this one's not bad. I definitely would not pay $700 for the damn thing. And let's compare it to a few more things. We have a Leader Class Combiner Wars Megatron. We have an Ultra Class Onslaught. We have a Modern Deluxe Class figure. A few bonus size comparisons. Here is the Masterpiece Sideswipe and the Masterpiece Shockwave. And a Christmas tree because, you know, happy holidays! One last thing I want to show off on the Shadow Command Megatron is this is where the batteries go. And you can see this little panel right here that will go over here, and it just has one screw on the top there, as well as a couple of tabs on the bottom. The reason why I'm showing this off is because I don't know if there's a faulty wire, or there's something going on with the electronics, or there's a battery just messing up somehow. I don't know. But something is messing up with the electronics to the point where it just constantly makes this clicking noise, and I have to bang it just lightly to get it to stop. So I figured it's safer just to take out the batteries. I mean, that's what I've done for the longest time. I've only put them back in just for the review, and now I'm going to take them back out. And with that said, let's move to the final tally! Overall, would I recommend Shadow Command Megatron? Not for $700 because it's just the Leader Class Megatron painted in black. I do get that it's the unreleased version, but we have the mold for a cheaper price. I don't know, I feel like you can just get that and repaint it. Hell, it's a custom. It's probably gonna be worth more than this. But you know what, for what it's worth, I think that this paint job is pretty good. If you can find a Shadow Command Megatron for the same price as the original Megatron, I would say, yeah, definitely go and get this one. If you're gonna get one of the two, go for this one. But if it's super expensive, no, just go for the original one. But I do appreciate it, because I didn't really pay a dime for it. I got it for a birthday gift. And you know what? I love this thing. It's something that's very hard to find. And you know what? I really appreciate it. With that out of the way, I want to say to you all, happy holidays.
And I'm sorry that the apocalypse is near.
Yeah, what he said. Wait. What?
I don't know. I haven't. I'm a helicopter.